All right, let's get this started here. Okay, let me share this stream. Give me a second. All right, how are we looking for the close here? How much time we have left? We've got 20 minutes ish. And yeah, market looks pretty bad. Big reversal today, giving up almost all yesterday's ramp, which is a little disappointing for bulls, but it's how it goes sometimes. So, um, if anyone's in chat, just say something so that I know that at least something's happening in here. I don't see anybody chatting it up yet. So I will just keep talking at nothing while I edit this thing. Okay, we've got some people in here. I wasn't sure if the stream, like, I don't know, if it was hung or something like that. All right, so how's everybody doing? Things not looking so hot right now. Okay, we've got VIX running, we've got Russell crashing. Gold miner's been doing pretty well. Uh, yeah, see, like, it's pretty good trend here. Probably is gonna make another high up in the maybe 22 area before it pulls back. Okay, semiconductors getting hosed again. Same with biotech. These have sort of been the most active, or sorry, SOX and LABD have been kind of the most active, upside and downside. There's like pretty good ranges trading those. Yeah, it does look like the market looks pretty bad. Yeah, so we're at the lows of the day right now. So, what is this? Oh, this is today. Yeah. So today opened up. I think this was, yeah, opened kind of flat-ish. What did we open? Flat? Yeah, opened flat with yesterday. I mean, this is nasty. So yeah, probably somewhere down in here. 330 on Qs maybe. Find some support down around in all this stuff. I'd look at kind of between this 332 and 324. Looks like a good place. Now we did have we had a couple oversold signals that popped off. So we had tech oversold on 12-month. This is what is it? The 7th and 10th, I think it was 7th and 10th, 8th and 12th. Oh no, this is 3 months. Hold on. Oh, same thing. 8th and 12th on the tech side, but nothing on hybrid for oversold. This 2.2 was really close. I mean, the threshold is 2.2, but probably there's more decimals on the back end that this was like slightly above. So it didn't register it on the chart here. Yeah, so hybrid say it's like, well, now it's 2.19, the threshold is, but on this day it was 2.2. Just because I remember that. But yeah, we are getting some tech oversold signals here. I mean, you can see tech prints a lot more than hybrid does. So hybrid is a little more, uh, it's like ratcheted down a little more just because it's sort of anchored by this fundamental score. So hybrid score is a combination of these two. Um, but I mean, the stats on just tech oversold are pretty good. So in the last, so this 1 year back tests, I've had 9 signals on tech, 12 month, and win rate's pretty good, about 75%, after a week. Uh, Market's generally 2% higher than where it was. So usually once these oversold signals start hitting, then you're kind of clear to, I mean, it might dip a little, obviously it could dip more past the signal, but based on these time frames, you're in a mode of buying the dips from then on, from when the trigger happens. Because historically, you're looking for upside at the end of the day. I mean, well, not the end of that day, but at the end of some of these time periods, if that makes sense. Oh, are we going up now? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get like some token up move into the close or what? I doubt it. I think that probably it's just gonna like kind of spill over like this. I mean, this is like as smooth of a downtrend as you're gonna get in a day. There's no reason that anyone's gonna step in here and buy this thing up into a long weekend, in my opinion. But hey, maybe people have a change of heart and all of a sudden stocks are cheap for some reason. Um, Another thing that we've been watching now because it's kind of getting, uh, I mean, not to sound alarmist or anything, but this is pretty bad for the bond market. There's got to be probably the worst start for bonds as far as like the year goes in a long time. I mean, I can't remember myself anything like this happening to start a year off in the bond market. So I guess this one is pretty 2021. What happened here? So 2021, where'd we go from 157 to 133? This is 154 to 120. Okay, so this is where, well, okay, so this started in November or December, but this drawdown is very steep. And it's kind of represented in some of the corporate credit markets too. This is not, if it was like, oh, everything is, there's growth happening in the economy and we're selling treasuries, but corporate credit's hanging up and or holding up, then that's fine. But this entire credit complex is like kind of a murder scene at this point, and probably pressuring portfolios a lot that is resulting in a lot of the equity volatility. Um, so that's pretty unpleasant at the moment. Let's see if anything good is running. KTTA, YJ. All right, this is all sort of junk. Let's up the market cap. Now what do we have? Is there any pattern here? Okay, metals. No real pattern out of the industries, but okay, Nike running. That's pretty not weird, but Usually you don't see these super super mega caps on these volume delta runner screens because it's hard to move. It's hard to move those stocks. So, but yeah, nothing really too interesting that I'm seeing on here. All right, we're back to crashing. Sort of as expected. Maybe not, but we're down ticking again. Let's see. Anybody got any questions? Things you want to look at? Things you want to click through? Sort of went through the oversold thing. I mean, I'd be inclined to wait for this 12-month hybrid to actually hit, just because like you see like all this where it's banging around the lows, the oscillator is, but it's not quite hitting it. I mean, that's sort of the same thing that was happening this whole time period, where every one of these rallies you wanted to sell until you actually got this oversold signal, and then we went up for like 2 weeks straight. So that was great. I mean, from mid-March to I don't know the exact date that it topped out at, but I can look. Okay, so we had 12-month on March 14th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So on the 28th is when this signal sort of went dead, not dead, but it expired. And then the following day was the high, and that was it. So you can see it's pretty, things are pretty dialed in for Stocklabs. What do you think about sitting in Bitcoins over the weekend? I mean, I don't trade Bitcoin at all. It's just not really, it's not something I ever got into, but I mean, based on some of this stuff in Stocklabs, so we have all these cryptos in the database and apply all the same algorithms to them that we do for our regular stocks and ETFs. So um, it's almost oversold. Or wait, we're almost oversold on. Let's see, this is the 3-month algo, but you can see that the back tests for that oversold signal aren't that great. Actually, it's more of a usually if you hit this, it's more of a momentum thing if you look like 1 or 2 weeks out where you're going to end up making another low at some point. Let's see. Okay, same thing for 6 month, 12 month. I mean, same thing. Like these oversold signals aren't generating bounces, but they're sort of they're getting like it gets oversold, you get a little bounce here, and then you end up continuing lower. Isn't the trend for oils to sell off on Monday? Not particularly. So, which one we'll look at XOP. So XOP, we can do seasonality, daily seasonality, and we'll look at this year so far. So you can see that Fridays generally, and we highlighted this before I mean, today's Thursday, okay, but Fridays are the big outlier day for up days. And then Mondays are generally the weakest day of the week you know, uh, for oils represented by this ETF. I mean, we could look at XLE or something like that too, but it's going to have the same pattern with just different values. So it's not selling off on Monday, but the bulk of your performance is sort of coming at the end of the week. I mean, even though all of these days have trended up, because oil's been that complex has been so strong for the whole year, and even I think the back half of last year too. So let's see. I mean, really, all of last all of last year, so 2022 straight up. Or wait, no. Today, this is 2022. Okay, so we've gone up all year. This is what I was talking about. Back half of last year was ramping, kind of crested over, but then the new year has been straight up. So yeah, that's so yeah, that explains like why all of these are green because most days in general have been green. Now there will be sectors um, that will have more of a sort of spread between certain days. So maybe Monday and Tuesday are really strong, and the back half of the week will sort of trend down. But um, as far as oils go, I mean, this has just been a horse the whole time. It hasn't really made a difference seasonality wise on a daily basis, other than Friday has been particularly good. So like if you were looking for a spot to get in and somehow you got a dip on Thursday randomly, then you know your odds were good that Friday would be strong. And then the gray, so then the gray box is the S&P just for comparison. So you can see that it's really not hasn't been correlated with the S&P. So Thursdays in the overall market have been bad, whereas it's been green. Fridays even have been fractionally down or flat for the overall market, and the oils have outperformed uh, by a pretty wide margin. So yeah, I wouldn't say the pattern is the sell off on Monday. Riot and Mara. Okay, Mara is not looking good. So this is See, I'm on this real time. This is intelligence. So there's no oversold signal right now. You're not past this, you're not into this blue section or you're not up into this red section. So these stats don't apply because these stats only come into play once you generate a signal, okay? So if you want to know what the forward returns are from a market score or a tech score or hybrid score, whatever the current value is, then you're on this real time tab. And you can see based on this that real time intelligence is sort of projecting, or we've seen more weakness out of this stock, Mara. Um, you know, other times that it had the same rating. Riot it's possible that Riot is different, but it's a little different, but also similar. So you're probably looking at a little more downside in Riot, but ultimately should catch a bounce. I mean, so timing, if you were trying to time out a trade or something, you'd be looking at something like buying maybe on Tuesday next week, Tuesday, like mid next week, because assuming this drops, another 2% on Monday, it's going to drop another 2 or 3% to get to down 4.5% of current levels by Tuesday or Wednesday, and then maybe you enter into the trade and ride it out to get up here. So that would take you from -4% to +5%. You'd bank like 9% on that trade. And I mean that's an ideal scenario. There's no saying that plays out that way, but when you look at these stats, that's sort of how you would map out a plan for how you'd execute an actual trade. Let's go back to, well, did we really fall apart here or what? Yes, we did. So that's kind of what we expected. Yeah, this was going to roll over. And how much do we have? How much time we have left? Like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, something like that. Yeah, so there's no saving this. And this, I have no idea if there's any candlestick people in here, you can shout out whatever this is called, but I can tell you that just with my eyeballs, it looks bad. Okay. So any other? Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Stocks we should look at? ETFs? Anything? So, for instance, on the Q's intelligence, um, yeah, it looks like there's going to be more. There's going to be some incremental softness out of this index too. So maybe you'd be looking at a bottom, sort of same thing, like mid late next week. Is it 5 days from now? So what is 5 days from now? I guess it's just next Thursday. Trading days, not calendar days. Unless I don't know, is the market closed on Monday? Someone can shout that out. I haven't looked it up. I know we're closed tomorrow. Oh, so I guess that would make this Friday, assuming the market's open on Monday. So yeah, maybe we get something like um maybe we get something like just one more down move in the market next week. We get an actual 12-month hybrid oversold signal, and then by then we'd be way past mid. That'd be around option expiration, so those weeks they do tend to be pretty volatile. And last year we were getting a lot of oversold signals hitting either the day before, a couple days before option expiration, or the Monday after, and those were getting. I mean, those were basically generating like month long trend moves up. So the bounces were pretty good. Now the bounces have gotten weaker over time, and they haven't been sticking for more than a few days. I mean, like I said, the last signal was the best one. We got like a 2 week ramp. I think we went up, I don't know, 2,000 points on the Nasdaq, um, at least in Nasdaq futures. So yeah, that was solid. I guess the market just closed up. I mean, not closed up, but closed up shop. So yeah, closed dead lows, perfectly crashed close, just how we like them. And yeah, I wouldn't expect too much early next week either. Um, the trend is decisively down at this point. I think we can all sort of see that. So yeah, just playing around with the volatility, manage risk, all of that. If there's any non-subscribers in the chat, there's free trial link in the description of the video, so you can check that out. And if you do go onto that, I can do individual demos with people too, because there's obviously a lot more stuff on the entire platform that I can show you, and you can ask whatever questions you have along the way. Other than that, hope everyone has a good weekend, long weekend. Happy Good Friday, and talk to everyone next week. Later.